What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Inside Lines Podcast, and Happy New Year Eve. I cannot believe this is the last day of 2024. It has been such an exciting year, so many ups, downs, twists, turns, but learned so much. And as we step into this exciting new year, I hope that you all take this time to reflect, to set intentions, and to manifest your dreams for the year ahead. There's something that I discussed actually when we had Boosie on, which was a powerful tool that can help you achieve your goals that I love doing with my family, and that is vision boarding. I love a vision board. This visual representation of your dreams and aspirations can serve as a daily reminder of what you want to accomplish and motivate you to take actionable steps to achieve those dreams. So if you've never done this before, here's a simple tip. Collect some images, collect some quotes, some affirmations, anything that resonates with your goals, and put them on a board. It doesn't have to necessarily be a vision board. It could be, a piece of paper. It could be some cardboard. It can be whatever it is, but just really cut out some images and some quotes and some aspirations to get you going and display it somewhere where you will see it daily. But remember, manifestation is just the beginning. So once you do collect all of these images and quotes, pair your vision board with clear, actionable steps. Break down your goals into achieving the tasks. So you need the achievable tasks, you need realistic timelines, you need actionable steps to get there. So break down your goals into, I want to do X. Okay, in order to get to X, I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those actionable tasks and steps will help you to get there. And I just want you to know this isn't something that I just made up. It's something that I've done in my life, from being an athlete to just different career aspirations that I've had, even to now. And so not only do I do it, but there's a lot of athletes that do it as well. There's many NFL players, if you want to just stick to the sports realm, who believe in visualizing success can lead to actual success. Oprah Winfrey even talks about it. So if you think about like Tom Brady and Russell Wilson, they have spoken about the importance of mental visualization, using techniques that align closely with the concept of vision boarding. Oprah talks about it all the time. Knowing who you are, what your purpose is, writing it down, setting some goals and going after it. They believe that when you see your goals as reality, it helps you to focus. You focus on the efforts, you focus on how to achieve them, which leads to extraordinary results. So I hope this motivates you. I hope that you try it out. And I just want to say that as you're doing it, be realistic in your goals and make sure the actionable steps to get there make sense for you. You can do it. I've done it. I love doing it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Now, for those that are still playing fantasy football, I have to wish you good luck in the playoffs. I know we're through the first week of playoffs. Let's see what happens in this next week, but wishing you all the best in fantasy football, wishing you all the best in real life in the new year. And may 2025 be all that you've ever wanted. Anything that you write down, anything that you want to achieve, I pray that you get it all. Okay, speaking of working hard and getting it all, I'm excited to announce our special guest for today's episode. I'd like to welcome to the podcast, Arkell Cox. You don't want to miss this insightful conversation. Happy New Year. On the show today, we have a visionary creator and innovator in business. She is born and raised in Brooklyn, the CEO and founder of Diamond Girl Productions, and she is a self-taught franchise expert. Please welcome to the show, Arkell Cox. Woo!
Hi, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm excited to be here with you today, Atoya. This is super, super, super fun. It's going to be great. We're going to have a good time. Like just two girlfriends chatting in the living room.
Two girlfriends kikiing and having a good time.
Yes.
I am so excited for you to come on because
Thank
there
you.
is so many layers to who you are and all that you've done. And I want to start with the most important part to you, and we can get into the rest. And I know you're a mother.
Yes.
And I myself have 3 kids, and I know I love being a mom. It's one of the most important things in the world. I want you to tell me why it's important to you and what you love about motherhood.
Well, as you said, it's one of the most important, I wouldn't even call it a job in my life. My girls are my best friends. You know, I have 2 girls. My youngest is 19. She is in school in LA. She is a track star. She's deciding whether she wants to pursue the career in medicine or she wants to go into business. And she'll see this, so she'll know that mommy wants her to continue with the medical field. But whatever she chooses to do, it's okay. I am going to support her. And
Wait, you said she's a track star?
yes, she's a track star. She has been dubbed here in the state of New Jersey, like the second fastest runner in her high school. They had her picture up in a lot of the restaurants, and they would give you a discount if you go in the restaurant and you say her name. But meanwhile, her poster was in the windows, so they would definitely
Okay, I need to know her events because you know I'm a track girl, right? Did you know that?
She's in LA now. This was when she was in high school.
Okay,
so
tell
this
me,
was just 2 years
what
ago.
were her events?
The 4x4.
She was okay. So she liked the hard races too. So I ran track in college. I was a 100-meter hurdler, 400 hurdler, 4x1, 4x4.
Wow.
And so when you talk about trackies, you talk about anybody that people don't know how hard that is and how
it is extremely hard. It's the discipline. Yes. I mean, this child been running track for Prospect Park when we were in Brooklyn. She was running park at the age of 8. It was something that she absolutely loved, and she trained for it. And her body was just like, when she runs and I see the muscles in her legs, I was like, yes, yes, yes. And she's so disciplined. Yes. I mean, there would be times she would have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to, drive 3 hours to meet, or we would have to jump on a plane to go cross country, whatever it was. She was dedicated. Her GPA never, ever dropped. I mean, she's just an amazing, amazing student. And so that's why I say whatever she chooses to do at this point, I am all for it because I learned from her. She's my teacher. She's so focused. And then the other one, she is, I call her my little sunshine because she's just so absolutely infectious. You see her and you smile. She's the artist. She's the rapper. Okay. She's the one that she's signed to MBK, which is she has a deal with RCA Sony. And she's just amazing. I mean, she speaks her truth. She is... she's very much so old spirit, if you will, right? She is the one that will be able to see a headline, with whatever current events is happening in the world today, and she would write a song about it. And it's so real. It's surreal. You feel it. She's just amazing. She's very gifted, and her music is a music cross between all the greats. And I'm not just saying this because she's my child, because I'm that mother who's very honest. Initially, when she came to me in high school and said that she wanted to be a rapper, I can't tell you what I said, but just know it wasn't good, right? And so I'm like, you're going to go to school, which she did. She went to school in New Orleans and she got her degree in music. And she has been soaring ever since. But what's so important, Atoya, that I think all parents should really, stick with that gut feeling. Like, I wanted her to go to school. I wanted her to get her education in music. My daughter can go in, she can work the boards if the engineers are late. She can go through her contracts. She owns her master's, everything. And that's because she set the foundation with school. And so I'm very grateful to my girls, the way that they have pivot, because we've had a lot of challenges in life. And they have just stood strong and by their faith and just being steadfast. They are amazing humans. I'm very, very, very grateful to them.
Well, kudos to you too, Mom, because you allowed both of your girls to be who they are.
Yeah, that's important.
You know, and not only to be who they are, but still reminding them the importance of education. Like, to your point, you're like, you can have all of these great ideas, but you need to have the education behind it. So that way, when people come to you, you know, they can't bamboozle you. You have the education, you know what's important. And so you instill that in them, which is so important.
Correct.
That's beautiful. I love it. And you talked about the challenges that they've been through in their life. I know you lost your husband at only 40 years old to colon cancer. And being a widow, you know, you really had to, you know, people think about, you know, gosh, that's so sad. But more importantly, like, you had to figure out how to take care of your family, what to do. Talk about that entire time for you, you know, the grieving and how you decided to pick yourself up and become who you are, which we're going to get into because it's a long slew, y'all. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, you sign up for this thing called marriage, right? Mm-hmm. And you go before God and the family and the friends, and you celebrate, right? And you say those vows for better or for worse, in sickness and in health. But when you're standing there, you never think that you may have to stand in sickness and health, right? So until death do us part. And so when I said those vows, that wasn't my reality. This was my best friend, the love of my life, became the father of my only two children, his only two children. And so when life quickly spiraled, we were building these businesses. He was getting the notoriety for all the work that he was doing in the community. And then he becomes sick, right? He becomes sick and we don't know why. We can't figure it out because no one is thinking of cancer. There's no cancer in his family. His mother and father is still alive today, healthy, thank God. But so you're looking for things and you're saying maybe it's some type of autoimmune disease, that's why he's sick, and maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And then we find out it's cancer. And the doctors say he has 3 months to live. And I'm like, he's 6'4", 240 pounds, right? Extremely healthy. I'm firing this entire team at New York Presbyterian. And I'm hiring another team because you guys are misdiagnosing him. And unfortunately, they were right. He had stage 4 colorectal cancer. And it was a very aggressive form of cancer. And unfortunately, he passed away within 3 months. And so with him doing that, I had to now figure it out. I had to either say, I'm going to let this thing beat me. Right? My husband was here and he did everything. I came home, I turned on the lights, I swiped the credit cards. I was good.
Yeah, right.
Right? But now he has a partner and I have to now step in as him, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to step in as myself, right? I wanted to get the respect from his partner. And that took some time, right? I had to get rid of his team, his attorneys, his, counsel, whatever he had. I had to get rid of them because every time I would sit and I would speak with them, they would say, well, your husband wouldn't have done it that way. I'm like, well, I'm not my husband.
That's right.
My husband ain't here. Right? So we had to now make that shift. You hear people talk about that shift.
Right.
And for me, that shift was saying to myself, okay, God, by the grace of God, my faith, I have to now not stand in his shoes, but I gotta wear my own shoes next to him. He left the blueprint. Let me go ahead and build. Let me build on that. And I didn't ever want a time, we lived a really amazing life when my husband was alive. I never wanted a time where my girls would come to me and say, hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. Or can we go to Dubai tomorrow? And I can say, oh, we can't do it because daddy isn't here. No, we believed in creating memories. We know that we can buy them anything. You can buy them a bag, a piece of jewelry. They're going to lose the bag. They're going to lend the jewelry to their friends. They're going to lose the shirt, those sneakers.
Right.
But if you create memories with them, Nobody can take the memories. They're going to live with those memories. And so that was something that my husband and I was very big on. So I wanted to continue that as well. And so I just made that declaration to myself that I'm going to try to do everything in my power. I'm never going to take no for an answer. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to continue to build these businesses. We had a lot of debt, over $1 million in debt at the time of his passing. I'm going to pay this debt off, and I'm going to continue to be that powerhouse that he was, but within my own right, because he left a blueprint.
That's good.
So what people don't realize is when you lose a spouse, whether it may be your husband or your wife, you get lost in that, right? But you have dreams, you have aspirations, you had those vision boards, you had the plans. And so why should it now falter? Why would you not continue to build on that? And I chose to build on that, the good and the bad, and create my own entities.
Yeah, it's almost like you had that foundation, and now it's just, okay, what do I want on top of this foundation? How do I want it to look? What am I building? What do I want the windows to look like, the doors to look like? When you walk in, like you had, to stand on his foundation and figure that out for you, which you did, which is amazing. And we're gonna just start one by one and talk about what you decided to build in your house.
Okay.
So, you ready?
I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay, well, let's talk on the franchises that you have. You are the owner of IHOP restaurants. You are the developer for the borough of Brooklyn. You've done all these amazing things that most people aspire to do. How did you get into this? And tell us how, I just want to know what made you decide to start there.
Okay. So that is, again, building on the blueprint, right? Continuing the legacy. So it was a storm, from Brooklyn. We were living in Brooklyn. It was a storm, a major snowstorm in Brooklyn. And my children, I didn't have the youngest one. That was just the oldest one, and her cousins were running around the house, and an IHOP commercial came on, and then they're like, "Oh, we want IHOP. It's a snowstorm outside. How are we going to go to IHOP?" Right? And so my husband and my brother-in-law was like, "Get the kids dressed. We're going to IHOP." So we went to the IHOP, and we drove from downtown Brooklyn to across Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And when we got there, I just didn't feel comfortable there, right?
Okay.
And so we drove to New Jersey, right? And later on that evening, my husband was sitting with his partner and his attorney, and he said, "I want to build an IHOP. I want to figure this out. Brooklyn is too big of a borough for us to only have one IHOP." And that's where the seed started, right? Okay. And once we opened our store, the store became one of the busiest stores in the country.
Really?
So then IHOP was like, "Oh, these people are on to something." I mean, it was by default because you got to come over the bridge. We're right there. You had these two men who were very popular that own these entities. So people are going to support them.
Yeah.
And so they said, "We want to make you guys developers for the borough of Brooklyn." And so obviously when my husband passed away, that didn't pass away with him. The obligations and responsibilities were still there.
Yeah.
It's now my responsibility.
Right.
So that is how I became the franchise developer for the borough of Brooklyn.
Okay.
And it was a big, 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 big undertaking, but it was something that it was part of my legacy. It was part of now me standing on my own. Right? And constantly you see in my book, if you ever read my book, it says standing on my 10. And so that was part of me saying, I can do this. I'm going to stand on my 10 and building those stores and being able to create a new outlet instead of building them using traditional lending, building them with our own money. So I don't own anything, building them and owning the land that the structure is on. So now we have generational wealth, right? So I started to think out the box and started creating a new lane. And sometimes it was like fast track. It was like easy pass. But then sometimes it was like, oh God, this wall, where did it come from? And how do I go around it or go on top of it?
Right.
But we figured it out. We figured it out.
That's beautiful. And you kind of teased the book. You didn't really talk about it. Tell us about this book.
The book is back there.
Yes.
It's on the wall. So the book is called Diamonds Are Forever.
Okay.
And my husband's name was Diamond. From the time he was 3 years old, they called him Diamond. And so I named the book after him because diamonds are forever, and he will forever be with me. And but the subtitle of the book is called Becoming a Boss After Loss.
That's good.
So the book came about because at the 10-year anniversary of his passing, I wanted to do this really big fundraiser. And I've been going back and forth 2 years prior to Washington, lobbying to pass a bill for minority men to be able to get a colonoscopy without having to go through, all the testing. If you are, showing signs, you should get a colonoscopy.
100%.
You shouldn't have to be, 50 years old or have 4 generations of colon cancer before they give you a colonoscopy. And so because they were still backlogged with all of the bills needing to be passed from COVID, my bill didn't get passed in time. And I remember my daughters saying to me, Mom, you finally finished your book. You finished your book about 3 years ago. Write the book. Get the book out for Daddy. We'll give the proceeds to his foundation. And so the book was just in this paper form. I had went to Staples maybe 2.5 years prior, and I had just gotten it printed out. And I had 5 copies for some of my dear friends and the children. And the book was just to speak about my childhood, how I grew up in Brooklyn, that I met the love of my life, and we built this foundation, and then he goes. Because it was leading up to Becoming a Boss After Loss, which is going to be the second book. But I felt that you needed to know who I am and where I came from before you know why I'm here. Because people only see today. They don't know what it took to get here. And so my daughter was like, you got to do it, Mom. And so by the grace of God, the book it wasn't edited. It was in my head, how I wrote it. And it was very important to me that I don't care if you're in the Midwest, I don't care where you are, if you're in another country, internationally, that you hear my voice, right? Good. And so I wanted you to hear my diction. So I sought out to find someone to edit this book. And I said, I don't want you changing my thoughts. I don't want you changing what I wrote. But if I forgot a comma or it's supposed to be a period or semicolon, if I put 2 instead of TOO, then that's what you fix. But do not change anything. And so I that was a battle within itself. But I found a sister that she was an editor for Oprah. And she said to me, I don't have the bandwidth to do this right now. And after me crying on the phone for about 30 minutes saying, I got 72 hours to get this done, she caved. And she did it. And we was on the phone for 72 hours, nonstop, no sleep, from Friday until Monday morning, 10 o'clock. We got the book done. And then the company that I found to do the book, they said, okay, we can't do it. We told you we needed this by Friday. You gave it to us Monday at 10:20. We can't do it. And then they said, well, maybe we could do 100 soft covers. And I said, no, she needs hard covers. And by the grace of God, Thursday afternoon, I got 1,000 hardcovers and 1,000 soft covers, and we launched it.
You don't play.
I told you I don't take no for an answer.
You do not. I love it. You're like, no, this is going to happen.
So that's how the book came about.
That's beautiful. Okay, 'cause I want to talk about that. Speaking of you just never quit mentality, never give up, never take no for an answer. Where did that come from? Was that something that you saw, growing up in Brooklyn? Did you see that around you? Was there someone that instilled that in you? Where did that come from?
That's always been me. If you look at my wall, that smallest plaque right there, that was the first plaque that I ever got. And it says, July 26, 1980. Okay. I was 10 years old. I was in a competition on my block in Brooklyn, and you had to be 13 to 18.
At 10?
At 10, I bartered my way into the competition. I said they were discriminating because they should let the younger kids vote for the popularity contest to be who's going to be king of the block and who's going to be queen of East 55th Street. And the 10-year-old won the competition, right?
That is
something. So that's why that plaque is there. Amongst all of that, that is probably one of the most important. The doctorate is there, but that is so important because that's
okay. What did you do at 10 years old that wowed everybody?
So you had to go around and get signatures from, family members, people in the community, and you had to tell them why you thought you should be the one representing your block.
Right.
And so I went up and down. I took my grandmother and we went up and down Church Avenue, Utica, Flatbush. I went into stores. They donated monies to me. So I was able to give a donation to the block, which none of the kids, it was 13 to 18, thought about, Plus there was a bike. There was a bike that you was going to get. The queen got a bike and the king got a bike, right? And because I was so young, I couldn't even ride the bike because it was too big, but whatever, I got the bike. And I became queen of East 55th Street. So
that is everything.
It's something that's, I guess, I want to say it's always been there.
It's always been there. It's innate. At 10 years old, first of all, you bartered your way in, deboed your way in. Let's be clear, and then won. Like it was. That is at 10 years old. That's crazy. Like it has to be within you. No one would ever think about that.
Yeah.
Okay. There's so much to, the reason I love talking to you and when I was reading everything, you're so fascinating because, I think about growing up, right? And there's all of these people that tell you like, you're going to go to school. So you're going to figure out what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And that's just not realistic. Everybody's realizing that's not realistic. No one's going to do the same thing for their entire lives. Correct. And I say that to say, that's the fascinating part about you is because you have all of these layers that you can peel back and talk about all that you have done and accomplished. And another one of those things, we mentioned it earlier, it was talking about your label, your music label, and you are the CEO and founder of Diamond Girl Productions.
Correct.
How in the world, first of all, I want to know how old you were to start, because after hearing 10 years old, I'm just blown away. What made you decide to start a prominent music label?
So when my daughter was in high school, and when she decided that she was going to go to Loyola University in New Orleans and study music, I knew at that point that this was something she was really serious about.
Okay.
And so I knew because of all the people that was in the music industry that was around me, they would say to me, Ark, you're wasting your money. Ark, she doesn't need to go to school. I had like some of the top performers say to me, let me sign her to my label. And I kept saying to them, when she's finished school, you can sign her then. But right now she's going to go to school. She's going to learn the business and then we'll have that conversation. And as those conversations started happening and I realized that this child has a talent and other people are seeing it, I always figure if my husband was alive, he was going to sign her to his label. And so I created the label, Diamond Girl Productions, and I said, I'm going to sign her to my label, which is, she's the VP of her label as well. So it's a family business. Yes. The three, all three of us are the founding members of Diamond Girl Productions.
Okay.
And so I signed her to our production and then we did the deal. So that's where that derived from.
That's so smart. It's so smart. You're teaching them. You're ahead of the game. I think to your point, a lot of people think about, the prize is just signing somewhere, right? Let me just sign somewhere. Somebody wants me. And you were like, nah, that's not how we're doing it.
No, you're going to sign her from her own label. How about that?
That's smart.
We want to create legacy over here.
That's beautiful. I know I'm sure like when you first told her that she had to go to school, she probably was like, but I'm sure now she's looking back like that is actually so smart.
She wasn't happy. She was not happy at all. Sis, when I tell you, it took some conversations.
And as she went on and she went to school, did she understand then the importance?
So what's so touching, Atoya, is that, I get emotional. When people ask her, she says, because my mother made me go to school. My mother told me that this was going to be something that I need. And she realizes it when she's sitting in that studio and she has to jump in and she's mixing with the engineers. She would have never been able to do any of that. She would have been able to do that after being in the studio and learning and picking it up. But there was nothing like going to school and getting that knowledge of it.
Yeah, she was already prepared, right?
So now she understands and she is good with it. I'm grateful. Because my oldest one is like me. She wasn't cut out for school. She wasn't like, oh, the youngest one, tunnel vision. Mm-hmm. She's got it. She's got 20 years down the line already figured out. The oldest one, she's like me. We'll figure it out as it comes along.
But you do. You figure it out as it comes.
I do.
Which is true.
God's grace. I figure it out. Yes.
Okay. So I want to talk to you about this amazing jewelry line. So I need to rewind back a little bit. This past summer, Arkell and I went to Barbados on a women's retreat by Nakia McLean and Tanae Nicole agency called Support Your Girlfriends. And let me tell y'all, Arkell came in so cool and so chill, sitting there just glistening in jewelry, okay? Glistening. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this jewelry is gorgeous. And I can't explain to y'all how it looks. You just have to see it for yourself. But I'm going to let her intro it and talk about where the inspiration came from. But I promise y'all, I kid you not, when you see it, maybe you'll have some pieces I can kind of show on the podcast. We can kind of pop up or something, Arkell, maybe not. I don't know. But when y'all see the jewelry, it is one of a kind. It is one of one. You will absolutely fall in love with it. But I'm going to let you intro it.
So it is very, very much so. Okay, let's start from the beginning.
Yes, please.
So the jewelry line, I don't know if you remember this. It was maybe over 15 years ago. Okay. Everybody was with this craze where they were doing gold parties. Everybody was gathering up their jewelry and selling them. You would go to somebody's house, somebody would be there testing the jewelry, and they would give you cash for your gold on the spot. Do you remember that?
Yes, gold was
at that point in time, girl, everybody was scraping for fun, an earring or whatever it was. And so at that time, my husband was his jeweler. We went to the jeweler. I had broke a bracelet and we went to his jeweler and he said to him something about, it'll probably be worth more if you melt it and I pay you for it and you remake it. And I was like, no, why would I do that? And then he explained to me about this gold mining thing that was going on. I said, you know what? I've heard some people talking about it. I said, well, I want to be a gold miner. And so his jeweler taught me how to scratch the gold, test the gold, and weigh the gold. And to this day, I still have like the scale. Like it's crazy because I weigh my jewelry as I make it. So this is the scale. Why can't I open it now? But this is a jewelry scale, right?
Wow.
And so I have this on my desk because I weigh each piece of my jewelry to make sure that it is what the factory says that it is. But that's a sidebar. But in any event, so I learned how to test this jewelry.
Okay.
And so after doing that, I had my own little business that I was, I had armed security come with me and I would come to your house. You would invite as many people as you can. I would come in with thousands of dollars and just buy the jewelry from you, cash for gold. And then take it back to the jewelers, melt it, you get the cash. So that's what I was doing for about 2 years until that kind of fizzled out. But I say all that to say that in that time, the jeweler was like, I was making gold like pieces for myself from some of the gold that I would turn in. I would say, I want to melt this down. I want to create this ring. I want to melt this down. I want these earrings. Mm-hmm. And he said to me, let's create a jewelry line together. And I said, I'm not ready for that. I'm not at that stage. But this must have been almost 15, 17 years ago.
Wow.
And so now that I'm at a stage in my life where I'm now fulfilling the things that was inside of me because I'm finally in control. My businesses are stable. All the things that I ever wanted to do, I'm doing now. And so I went back and I says, I want to create a jewelry line and I want it to be unique like nobody else is doing. And so I went back to that jeweler and, we talked about it, but then I found another jeweler. I was doing some school tours and a friend of mine, he introduced me to a jeweler on 47th Street and we would take the children back and forth and show them how, this jewelry is made. And he has a huge facility. And I called him and I says, can I come in and talk to you? And I came in And I created this bracelet, right? So this bracelet has the diamond and it has the heart. It's adjustable. So this can fit any wrist, any person. The ring is adjustable. So if you order it, you don't have to say, oh, my ring size is a 7. It doesn't matter because it's adjustable. Like I can make it any size. I can make the wrist any size. And it's just one piece. There it is. Yes. And so I created this in my head. We kind of sketched it out. And almost 4 hours later, we had an actual piece because we sketched it. We put it in the machine. It made a cast. Waited for the cast to dry, then we threw some gold in it, and this is what we came up with.
Wow.
And so this piece is called Hold My Hand. The chain is the same concept. The chains, I don't have one on, but the chain is the same concept. And, what I like about it is that the chain can be worn several different ways. You can wear it as a choker. You can wear it as 2 pendants. You can wear it. It's just the
versatile.
pieces.
Yes.
Very versatile. Mm-hmm. It comes in 14 karat gold, yellow, white, and rose gold. But more importantly, the proceeds. Proceeds goes to the Dave Diamond Cox Foundation, which to me is the book. Proceeds go to his foundation. The Dave Diamond Cox Colon Cancer Foundation has paid school tuitions. We do recurrent tuitions to Bishop Loughlin in Brooklyn, which is his high school. Anything with colon cancer, if you need your mortgage paid, if you need groceries, if you need me to pay for a colonoscopy, I don't care what it is, that money goes to anything that has to do with colon cancer. And so I'm very big on that because colon cancer is the one cancer you don't have to die from. If you get a colonoscopy, polyps are found, they're removed, you go home, you play golf, you do whatever it is you do, right? And so nobody has to die from it. And so I believe that Dave's death wasn't in vain because we've saved thousands of lives, Atoya. I have people that would send me pictures of their colon and say, oh, these polyps were removed. I'm like, oh, I'm glad that they were removed, but I ain't really need the visual. But
I just needed the words. That's it.
Right. And so, yeah. So that's why the jewelry line is important as well. But it's important because it's part of me.
Yeah.
It's what I've always had in seed form, and now to see it actually, be here and it's tangible, and that my girlfriends are looking at it, and men are saying, "Oh my God, I've never seen anything like that. How did you even come up with that concept? Oh my God, I want a piece for my wife. I want a piece for my daughter." And so when I see people wearing the pieces and they're outside and I run into them or I see them posting it and tagging me, I'm overwhelmed. And all I can say is thank you, God. To go from in here to here is a blessing.
It really is. And I can't wait to do a holiday pop up at my house and have you come and we just eat and drink and shop and enjoy your pieces. Because the thing about your pieces, I know you said that they're adjustable, which they are, but what I really loved about them is they have their own little sparkle or shine. It's not like typical, a gold chain and that's it. Like it has a nice, like the way you designed the piece is just like, it has you turn your hand, it's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is beautiful.
So about that, and you know where that comes from, right?
No.
All the pieces are diamond cut. They're diamond cut for diamond.
Cut. That makes sense.
Part of the whole legacy. So it's diamond cut.
That's beautiful. And what I've learned about you is not only are you this successful businesswoman, but you're really big on giving back and on philanthropy. Yeah. Where did that come from for you?
The Bible says, "Too much is given, much is required." Right. So I'm blessed. I although we've been through so much, God's grace on our lives, it's amazing. So for me, but I come from a West Indian background where that's what we do. We give back, you give back. Everybody's always at your house. You're eating, or if somebody says, "Oh, I like that shirt," before you know it, you're taking off the shirt and you're putting on another and giving it to them. Mm-hmm. It's just how I was brought up. It's part of who I am. Mm-hmm. And so coming along and being a girl from Brooklyn and seeing a lot of things that I've seen, for me, I know what the blessing is. I don't give to get. I just give because I know that God is going to always replace and bless me.
That's good. That's really good. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being who you are. You are one of those women that really understands breaking boundaries. You understand stepping out in your leadership, and you understand seeing dreams and making it a reality. A lot of people dream, but they don't know how to make it a reality. And you're the prime example of that. And it's just so beautiful to watch you flaunt this jewelry, and when it comes to fruition, like meaning when I have it on, I can't wait to rock it and tell everyone about it, because it's just one of a kind. And there's lots of jewelry out there, but I feel like, to your point, you want something that really makes a statement and makes you feel good. And that's what your jewelry, it just makes you feel good when you see it. So I love what you're doing. I love all that you've become. Even through everything that you've been through, you've pushed through to the other side, not just for yourself, but for your girls. I know how it is as a mother. You want the best for your kids, and you see the best in them. So I thank you for all that you are, and all that you continue to do. And I'm here cheering you on the entire way. But before you leave, we have to play a quick game.
Okay.
It's called the 2-minute drill. We always play it at the end.
Okay.
And the 2-minute drill is basically a this or that question or a fill in the blank. And you have 2 minutes to answer. It's another way for people to get to know you. And it's just a fun way to wrap up the podcast.
Okay.
So you ready?
Go. Yeah.
Okay. 2-minute drill starts now. Okay. Name your favorite place you've ever traveled to.
Dubai.
You did talk about that earlier. I was wondering. Okay. Planning every detail or going with the flow?
Planning every single detail. Everything.
All right. Tell me your favorite hobby.
Being with my family.
That's good. Do you have a favorite sports team?
Nah.
Even being in Brooklyn?
I'm not into sports. Everybody's surprised. I go just to hang out and see my friends. Okay, Brooklyn Nets.
There you go.
I'm going to New York. All right.
Staying up late or waking up early?
Staying up late.
Okay. Who is someone you admire?
There's so many. I don't want to get anyone in trouble by just saying one person. There's so many. Okay, let's do this. I admire anyone that I can learn from.
That's good. Do you enjoy cooking new recipes or do you stick to your favorites?
Both. I like the favorites what the family wants me to make, but then I also like to go someplace and then come home and try to make it just like they have.
I do too. My husband will be like, girl, here you go. Like, I just want to see if I can do it.
I get close though, so I want to do it. Yes. So both.
Okay. What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of who I am becoming.
That's good. Do you enjoy having a large social circle or a few close friends?
I cherish having a small...
Sorry, that's a 2-minute timer. Go ahead. You can finish that.
That was quick. I cherish having a small group of my day ones, the people that... And when I say day one, doesn't mean that you had to have been there from day one, meaning that I can call you. Yeah. But I love social. I love being social. I love having everyone around me at all times.
Yeah. Okay, last question. If you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be?
It would be, don't take no for an answer.
You was already doing that, sis. You was already doing that. Arkell Cox, thank you so much for coming on. You're so inspirational. I know women are going to want to know more about you, and they may have some questions with all that you've done in life. If there's a way for them to reach out to you, how can they reach you on social media? What's your handles? Let us know.
Oh, okay. So my Instagram is ArksAngel. Okay. And so the book is on MatriHeartmedia.com. And so my email address is attached to that. So they can definitely email me there as well.
Okay, we'll make sure to put that in the show notes. Yes. Thank you so much for joining. You're amazing.
Thank you for having me. You are absolutely amazing. I love your platform. I love what you are doing and the way that you just embrace women and continue to do what you do as well. I am grateful. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's our show. For the latest on the Inside Lines podcast, make sure to follow on both Instagram and Facebook. You can also check out the website, InsideLinesPodcast.com, and listen to your favorite episode. Lastly, check out the YouTube page, Inside Lines Podcast, and make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you know when a new episode comes out. And please leave an amazing 5-star review online and let us know who you'd like to hear on Inside Lines Podcast. Until next time, leave it all out on the field. Thanks for listening.